Hey everyone, before we dive into today's story, please hit that subscribe button and join our community. Drop a comment below to share where you're watching from and which city you're in. After the video, let us know what you do in this situation. Be real. We read every comment. Let's get started. The jewelry store fell silent when my mother's voice cut through like a razor. Don't bother showing her diamonds. She can't even afford the case they're packed in. The word stung, sharp and deliberate, in the middle of sterling and rose elegant showroom. The faint background music seemed to fade, and I stood there, pretending her barb didn't hit me, though it pierced deep. The young clerk froze, caught between a nervous chuckle and an apology. My mother's sly grin told her all she needed to know. "Let's see the latest pieces," she said, her tone smooth as her pearls gleamed under the lights. "My daughter's just here with me." I knew that voice. Honeyed venom. The kind that made me feel like a kid again, not a 28-year-old woman. My chest tightened, but I forced a steady smile. "Actually," I said, my voice calm but firm, "I'm here for something specific." My mother let out a sharp, mocking laugh. "Oh, really? From a catalog?" Ignoring her, I turned to the clerk. "Ava Carter. I placed an order last month. It should be here by now." Before the clerk could reply, the store manager approached, his tailored suit and quiet confidence commanding the room. He stopped when he saw me, his face breaking into a warm smile. "Miss Carter, we've been expecting you. Your custom diamond collection from Paris arrived this morning. Please come with me. We've prepared a private room for you to review them." The air shifted. My mother's smug expression faltered, her lips parting slightly. "There's got to be a mistake," she stammered. The manager shook his head. "No mistake, ma'am. Miss Carter is one of our exclusive clients. Her designs are part of the Lauren collection." The clerk's mouth fell open, and nearby customers turned, their eyes flashing with curiosity. I glanced at my mother, her composure unraveling like a slow tear in fabric. For years, she dismissed my art as a pipe dream, scoffed at my online sketches, and insisted real success came from marrying wealth, not creating it. Now, she stood in the store she'd ridiculed me in, surrounded by my designs. I followed the manager to the private room, my heart racing, not with pride, but with something heavier, like a weight lifting. The table sparkled with pieces born from my sketches. Intricate curves, handcrafted stones, each bearing my tiny AC signature. The manager beamed. "They're stunning. Lauren was right, you're a visionary." My hand shook as I touched a necklace I'd poured months into perfecting. My mother appeared in the doorway, her face pale, her silence loud. I met her gaze. "You were right, Mom," I said softly. "I can't afford to buy these, but I can create them." The quiet that followed shone brighter than the diamonds around us. Her heels clicked sharply on the marble as we left the boutique, her voice low and biting. "Ava, what was that supposed to prove?" I didn't answer right away. The Manhattan air hit me, crisp and vibrant as the automatic doors parted. For the first time in years, I didn't feel diminished next to her. I felt visible. Under a streetlight, I turned to her. "It wasn't a stunt, Mom. It's my career." Her lips tightened. "Since when do you have a career?" she snapped. "You're saying those jewels, those absurd prices, are because of you?" "Yes," I replied. "Every drawing, every design, every night you called a waste." Her face twisted, caught between pride and disbelief. "You should have told me." I gave a soft, bitter laugh. "You wouldn't have listened. You never do unless there's a dollar sign involved." Her mouth opened, but I pressed on, years of bottled up words spilling out. "Do you know how many times I nearly gave up? How many shifts I worked at the diner to afford supplies? When I called hoping you'd say, 'I'm proud,' you told me I was chasing fantasies." Her voice cracked as she cut in. "Exactly. I didn't hide the tremble in my own. You never believed in me unless it served you." For a moment, guilt flickered in her eyes, but she turned away, masking it. "Ava, I wanted you to be secure, stable." "No," I said, stepping closer. "You wanted me to live your idea of stability. Marry wealth, stay quiet, smile at galas. You never cared what made me happy." The traffic light shifted to green, casting her face in a strange glow, part envy, part realization. You sound like your father, she muttered, always blaming others. That hit hard. Dad believed in me, I said quietly. He championed my art until he was gone. You buried that part of him because it didn't fit your vision. Her jaw clenched, but she had no reply. I took a deep breath and walked toward the curb. You know, Mom, I used to think success would make you love me differently. It won't, and I'm okay with that now. Her heels clicked faster as she followed. Ava, wait. Don't walk away like this. I'm not walking away, I said, turning to her. I'm moving forward. Her face softened, but only slightly. Maybe she saw me not as her daughter, but as a woman who didn't need her approval to thrive. Before I slid into my car, she called out, Ava. Everyone was staring at me in there. You embarrass me. I paused, hand on the door, and met her eyes. Now you know how it feels. The city absorbed her silence. As I drove away, tears blurred the skyline, not from pain, but from release. The burden I'd carried for years fell away, like shards of glass swept clean. In the rearview mirror, the jewelry store's lights glimmered, a reminder. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't vengeance, it's rising where they said you'd fall. And I was still climbing. 2 months later, I stood before a floor-to-ceiling window in Paris, the sunrise blending with the city's glow. The Eiffel Tower sparkled faintly in the distance. Behind me, the showroom hummed with anticipation. My debut collection, Lumiere by Ava Carter, was set to launch at Lauren's annual fashion gala. Sketches once dismissed as doodles now hung framed under glass, admired by reporters, stylists, and collectors from across Europe. Each diamond held a piece of my struggle. As I adjusted a necklace I designed after my father's passing, my assistant, Mia, rushed over, eyes wide. Ava, you won't believe who just RSVP'd late to the gala. I smirked faintly. Another critic? She shook her head, holding out a card. Linda Carter, your mother. My heart skipped. What? She called the office, Mia said cautiously. Said she's flying in tonight. Told them she's your manager. I exhaled slowly, my pulse quickening. It wasn't surprising. My mother always appeared when the spotlight was too bright to ignore. That night, the gala hall shimmered like a fantasy. Cameras flashed, the air thick with wealth and perfume. Yet I felt anchored, no longer the girl who shrank beside her mother, but a woman who'd built something untouchable. Then she entered, Linda Carter, in emerald silk, diamond earrings clashing with her expression. Her eyes found mine across the crowd. For a moment we were still. Then she smiled, the polished smile I'd grown up fearing. Ava, she said, reaching out. You look incredible. The papers are calling you the future of luxury design. I suppose I should say I always knew you'd succeed. I glanced at her hand, then her face. Funny, I said evenly. You once said my designs belonged in thrift shops. Her smile held, but her eyes flickered. I was wrong, she said quickly, voice low. We all make mistakes. Tonight's not about grudges. Everyone here knows we're family. Let's act like it. Her words stung more than she knew. Act like it, her lifelong mantra. Act happy. Act flawless. Never be real. I stood taller. I'm done acting, Mom. Before she could reply, the announcer's voice rang out. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ava Carter, designer of this year's exclusive Lumiere collection. The room erupted in applause, cameras flashing like stars. My name echoed louder than her criticism ever had. On stage, I didn't look away from her. This collection is for anyone who's been told they're not enough, I said. Sometimes those closest to us can't see our light until it dazzles them. Gasps rippled through the crowd, then silence. My mother's gaze dropped, and for the first time, I saw not defeat, but acknowledgement. The applause wasn't just for the jewels, it was for resilience. I'd never shone brighter. As the applause faded, I stepped off the stage, hands trembling not from nerves, but from something deeper, freedom. The night was flawless. The collection sold out in minutes. Critics called it emotion carved in crystal, and Lauren himself raised a glass to me, dubbing me the future of elegance. Yet, as the cameras turned away, I saw her, my mother, standing alone at the ballroom's edge, her expression unreadable. The woman who once told a stranger I'd never succeed now looked out of place in a room celebrating me. Mia approached, beaming. Ava, you nailed it. Lauren's team already wants a second collection. I smiled faintly. Can you give me a moment? She nodded, and I crossed the marble floor, each step resounding. My mother turned as I approached, and for once, she didn't look ready to fight. Her voice was soft, almost breakable. You were incredible up there. Thank you, I said quietly. She hesitated. I shouldn't have said those things at the store or before. I was too hard on you. I thought I was keeping you safe. I crossed my arms, not out of anger, but to steady myself. No, Mom. You were protecting yourself from a daughter who didn't match your idea of success. Her eyes shimmered. Maybe you're right. I was scared. Your father saw something in you I couldn't after he was gone. I didn't want to lose control. You lost control when you tried to confine what wasn't yours, I said softly. You didn't lose me because I failed. You lost me because I stopped needing your validation. The words lingered, heavy and undeniable. She swallowed hard. I don't know how to fix this. You don't have to, I said. Just stop tearing me down. Silence. Then, barely audible, she whispered, I'm proud of you. It wasn't enough to erase years of pain, but it was the first time she'd said it. A small part of me, the girl who once sketched by lamplight, finally breathed. I gave a faint smile. That's all I ever wanted to hear. We stood there, no more masks, just two women, one learning to release, the other learning to love from afar. The gala wound down, guests drifting into the Paris night. I stepped onto the balcony overlooking the Seine, the city lights twinkling like my diamonds. Mia joined me, holding 2 champagne glasses. To your first collection, she said, clinking mine. I smiled. And to never letting anyone make me feel small again. She laughed softly. That's my Ava. Gazing at the river's shimmer, the music fading, I felt no need to prove anything. I'd already done it. Back in New York a week later, a letter awaited me, no return address, just my name in graceful script. I opened it carefully. Inside, a card read, For every diamond you craft, know you're the rarest of all. Love, Mom. A tear slid down my cheek. Maybe she was changing. Maybe not. But it didn't matter anymore. I'd learned the hardest truth. Some people only see your value when the world does first. That night, I locked my studio, dimmed the lights, and studied the sketches lining the walls, each a story of rejection, effort, and triumph turned into art. I whispered, You did it, Ava. Without them. And it finally felt true. Outside, New York sparkled like Paris had. Not because of the lights, but because I saw myself in them. Not as someone's daughter or disappointment, but as me, a designer, a survivor, a woman who learned the greatest revenge is becoming everything they said you couldn't. At the window, the moon caught my newest design, a teardrop-shaped ring of light. I slipped it on, smiled, and whispered, This one's for me. The world glimmered back, and for once, the silence felt whole.